Hi my Scrap Happy friends, this is Diane with Scrap Happy Die. I just wanted to share with you how I store my dies. First things first, the supplies I use. Now mind you, I've tried everything. I've been a scrapbooker since I was a little girl, and I'm very old. But really got into die cutting several years ago. I was fortunate enough to work at a scrapbook store with some wonderful people, and of course when you work around it, you get your hands on it and then you got to have it. The Quick Cuts dies were my first purchase dies. I mean, before that it was the big wooden steel rule dies, which are great, and those were quite pricey to purchase. And then Sizzix came out with the little red one. Remember, you crank down the handle, and they were a cheaper version. Those were great too. Actually, I have one right here. Just grabbed any old one. You know, they're fine, but they were rather large and cumbersome. So those I just kept in a box. I have small and I have some big ones and some, you know, big ones, like 12, 13-inch ones. Anyways, so when I worked at the scrapbook store, I discovered Quick Cuts. Thanks to my girlfriends that worked with us, and they're quite the enablers. We enabled each other. Anywho, there was books, there was notebooks. I put them in pockets, you know, baseball card pockets in my notebooks, but I have a ton. And the notebooks fell apart, even the ones that Quick Cuts made for the storage. You couldn't store many in there. So it wasn't until recently that I found this. I found from Avery & Elle the small stamp and die storage pockets. Most of my dies are in the 5 1/8 by 5-inch pockets. There's a 50 pack. You can buy them from Simon Says Stamp, you can buy them from Avery & Elle or Amazon. I get mine at Amazon, and they're nice. They're just heavy enough, but not too heavy. You know, the Sizzix, some of the Sizzix dies come in a small little plastic envelope. Oh, I've got one right here. Right here. Very nice, but they're just too big, too cumbersome, and they take up a lot of room. These are, you know, very thin. Can you see that? Let me move that. Very thin. And once you put your dies in there, you know, it's nothing. So, for example, I have these magnetic sheets, and I'll show you where I get them. And I put my die on there and I stick them in there. If I have time, I'll die cut out a sample of it and put it on the back. Or if it comes with a picture, I'll cut it out and just stick it in back. But in the beginning I did it and I just stuck them in there. And then I organized. And I'll show you that in a moment. Anyways, so the magnetic sheet comes this big. Oh, let me zoom up. Sorry, my lamp's in the way. Comes this big. It is, let's see, 8 by 15 inches. We get these at Lowe's or Home Depot, and they're vent covers for your heating and air conditioning vents. There's a 3-pack, and they're $6 for a 3-pack. Now what I do is I cut it down to 5 by 4. This is the Caterpillar crop cutting board. Cuts right through this, no problem. I cut it into 3 5-inch strips, and then each 5-inch strip I cut to 4 inches. Now for any die that's larger than this, I may keep a couple of strips bigger, or I may not put them on there. It kind of depends on the die. Okay, so there's that. You saw how easily that just went right through it. Great tool, worth the investment. Oops. And I'm happy with it. Then I stick my die on here. Let's see. So here's those bow dies I had. And I just slip them on here. Now some dies I have, we'll say, too many pieces, so I might just stick a second sheet in there. But this I can finagle it around to get it to fit. Again, this is that Quick Cuts magnetic tool I use. Before, when I had my fingernails on, it would be not a problem to pick it up. But right now, because I'm moving, I didn't put my nails back on. And I'm glad I didn't with, with the virus closing down all the retail shops or beauty shops. Well, this may have to go on a separate piece. But anyways, and I just stick it in there and it's all set to go. You could lap over it. I don't. I usually put a picture, like I said, in back. I do keep my extras, especially for something like this, in case I want to use them. It's already done, it's already made, and then I file it away. Now, Avriel has different size pockets. This is the 5.5 by 7 3/8. Another good size. Oh, this is a rosette die. I put this in one of those. I did put it on the magnetic sheet because this little piece, I rarely use this big one, so I have considered separating them, but then, you know, that's when you mess things up. So this, like, for example, the Stamps of Life die, it's a French fry box. I probably, because there's no little pieces and just to save some of my magnetic strips, I probably will just keep it like that. I'll probably trim it down so I can cover that up. It's, you know, just overlaps a little bit. But they're great. Now, I'm going to swing you around. You're on an arm, so sorry if it makes you a little nauseous. Right here, oops, my lamp is in the way. Right here is my dies, some of them. There we go, sorry about that. These are my dies. I put them in this. This is just an Alex drawer. And here's some of my longer Quick Cuts cookie cutter fonts. And with these, I took a really large envelope and I cut them down and taped them and put it like that. And I just file them in here by themes. I've got this drawer for my 4x4s and those cookie cutter fonts. These are my 2x2 fonts. And they're all labeled. Here's some more dies, all 4x4s. I've kind of outgrown my drawers. And excuse me, down here is my odd size, and those are some of my Sizzix, as you can see. Big long border strips, some odd shapes like the rosette die will go in here. See, that's one of the big ones, and you can see I had it in a binder before. Sorry for the glare, but I'm trying to show you the binder. Anyways, they went in there just like that. Those I'm still working on. Okay, I'm going to swing you back. Excuse the floor. Been die cutting. You know what a mess that is. Anyways, I just wanted to share with you that tip. I think these work perfect if you don't have a lot of dies. These are, you know, obviously you can store stamps in them too. If you don't have a lot, you can stick them in a plastic box. You can get at Dollar Tree and just, you know, thumb through them like a card catalog. That's great. If not, the drawers work fine. These are the Alex drawers from IKEA. And again, I'll show you this is the magnetic vent cover. 8x15, 3 packs, and they're just like $6 and maybe 18 cents. So you're getting them for like, you know, $2 and change a piece. And they're firm enough, but there's also wobbly enough or pliable enough that if you store them upright and they bend, it's not going to hurt. They won't crack or anything. And then, for example, like I showed you with the bow, this is one of my new dies I got in. See, it just comes in, doesn't fall. I mean, of course, it'll fall if you do that, but in the pocket, it would be just fine to go like that. And like I said, the Cutter-Pillar or any of the Cutter-Pillar cutters will work fine. This is the Cutter-Pillar Crop Cuts through that magnetic strip like butter. It's great. There, I'll zoom up a little bit. It cuts foam. It cuts chipboard. Not the super thick chipboard. I have the larger one of these, and it cuts through that, but I keep that one just for chipboard. This is my paper and my magnets and whatnot, and these are really great. Oh, my husband's calling me. Have a wonderful day.